What do you do when your husband is not leading your family and your children are not listening to you? This is an absolute huge problem in the Ummah today that Muslim working mothers are complaining of. This is also the number one reason given for Muslim families breaking down in society today. In today's podcast, I'll be sharing the real cause of this problem, of what's really underpinning all of the difficulties you're having in your family right now, and what to do if you're in this situation to address the balance. This is one of the most important podcasts I've ever done, and definitely one that you want to listen to if you want to know how to turn things around for yourself and your family, because you do not need to stay in this immense pressure you're in. You can turn this around, you can thrive as a family together, both husband and wife. And this is how. So let's get into this. Welcome to the Happy Home Podcast, where we help Muslim mothers create success and happiness in their personal, professional and family life and raise their children as happy, pious and productive Muslims. My name is Sayed-Hossen and I am your host and the founder of the Happy Home Institute. Assalamu alaikum and welcome to today's podcast. Now this is a really important podcast that I'm releasing today. It's really one needed very much in the Ummah of today, in what we're going through, in what we're witnessing around the world. And personally, I'm sure it's also going to speak to many, if not all of your problems in your marriage and your parenting. So I hope the guidance and clarity that you get from today's podcast will reassure your heart and give you hope of the way forward. So let's start. Bismillah. Why is it that so many Muslim women complain that their husbands are not leading their families anymore? That their husbands are absent in the home and they leave their wife to it. And these Muslim working mothers are also struggling with their children not listening to them and complaining that their children do not appreciate them and respect what they do. So today I'm going to share with you what is causing this problem at large, at the root cause. Because if you're in this situation, you'll want to know what to do and what not to do to make things better for yourself. When we understand the cause, then we can resolve the problem for good. So today I want to share with you what is the actual reason that we are seeing so many Muslim families break down. Because the husbands are not leading their families anymore, and the children are not listening to their parents. Understanding why this is happening in many homes is going to be key to helping you resolve it. So if you're finding yourself as a Muslim working mother in this situation, then you're going to really need to hear this podcast as to how you can resolve the situation you're in, take the pressure off, and actually create ease and happiness in your life. Both of these issues, where husbands are not leading and children are not listening, are caused by the same root problem. And they massively impact one another, each making the marriage or the parenting challenges worse. So if you're struggling with both of these, then you're probably having lots of conflict and frustration in your home. And you're probably suffering from exhaustion and burnout a lot. The goal for all of us is to help our families thrive. We all want to do that. So how do we achieve that? The Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said that each of you are a shepherd of your flock. The husband is the leader of his wife, the mother is the leader of her children. When we each take our roles given to us by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, our families thrive. The problem here that we all have is that we were not taught to lead our families growing up. Husbands were not taught to lead their wives so that she follows his lead, respects his leadership, knows how to be a provider, makes money and manages money, and balances the needs of his family with his wife's needs. And because we were not taught this, so many husbands in today's society struggle to lead their families despite trying their best to make it work, and not understanding why is it that it's not working out how he hoped. Similarly, mothers were not taught how to lead their children in a way where her children follow her out of love and respect. It is so easy to fall into the illusion of shouting and harshness just to get our children to listen to us, especially if that's what we saw growing up. But that soon backfires, and the mother's left struggling to lead her flock because she wasn't taught how to lead her children, so they listen. And most parents now and in the past focused on teaching our children how to study academically to get a job, how to read Quran and pray, how to do housework and cook. But how many parents teach their children how to lead their families one day? How to be a leader? Yet, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made every one of us a leader, a shepherd. But we were not taught how to lead. Corporate leadership training is definitely not the same thing as leading children, as you know too well. Our parents did their very best with what they knew, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have mercy on them. Ameen. We ourselves are trying our best with everything that we know. But now something different is available to us. We have the opportunity to learn the leadership lessons that we need to lead our families. Without learning this, what happens is that most leaders, be it husbands or mothers, end up trying to lead with fear and control as their tool. Fear of punishment. Fear that I'll be unhappy with you if you don't listen. Fear of humiliation or shame. Fear of confiscation. Many parents just take things away. Fear of withdrawing our affection. Fear is used to control. And control is the form of just do it and don't question what I say. But fear and control only works so long before your flock stops listening, because they've actually got used to your fear tactics and your confiscation and immune to the consequences. And in the end, every human being takes back control over their own lives, their own decisions, and their own choices, be it wives or children. So fear and control doesn't work. The impact of not learning how to lead our families is that husbands as leaders and mothers as leaders feel unable to step into our God-given roles. They don't feel confident as leaders. If I ask you as a mother listening to this, do you feel confident to lead your children? Do you feel like they're following you out of love and respect? Or do they fear what you might say or do or take away if they don't listen to you? Do you feel like the leader of your flock, knowing how to get the best out of them, knowing how to lead them to success? Or do you feel overpowered by your children, ganged up on, powerless and helpless sometimes? Now, unless you've had the sort of leadership training growing up from your parents or teachers, I'm guessing the answer is no. Unless you've been on one of my programs, but otherwise, no one was taught this. And it's so essential to learn. Equally, many husbands, complain that they are not feeling like leaders in their own home. They're not confident as leaders. So do husbands feel confident that he can provide for the family? Do husbands feel like they can lead their wives knowing that she trusts him and respects him and believes in him? Do fathers lead their children knowing that they respect him and take his guidance? Do husbands feel confident as leaders of their homes? Most don't. Most feel overwhelmed when they realize that the fear and control and blind following doesn't work with your family. That's not how you lead your family. Your flock start rebelling or going behind your back. Most mothers and husbands feel overwhelmed by their responsibility. Not because they're not willing to take it on, but because they lose confidence, doubt their ability, and feel unable to do their role because whatever they do doesn't seem to work. And you find that as husbands are seeing the mothers struggle with their children, criticize her for losing her temper, telling her to be more patient. But when you're in that position and you're trying your best as a leader, you're trying to lead your children, and someone tells you that, It can make you feel misunderstood, unappreciated, and like you're failing, confirming your own fears that maybe I don't know what I'm doing here, even though you know they're right, that you shouldn't be losing your temper. And with many of the clients I work with, many of the clients I work with, they start off supportive of their husband, seeing that he's feeling overwhelmed, working and helping him with the finances, taking over responsibilities in the house so that things are easier for him. But as she starts taking on more and more and gets more and more exhausted, is unable to find time for herself. Her spiritual, emotional and physical needs are unmet. She becomes burnt out and exhausted. That support starts to become resentment, and she loses respect for her husband because he's not standing up as a man. He's now acting like another child in the home. You have no support, and you're having to do everything for everyone. And she starts to question, what is the point in him being here? He's not adding any value. The more that the husband and wife disconnect, the more of a failure he feels. He starts to give up, unsure why his efforts are not enough, feeling unappreciated by his family because at least he's trying. And he starts to busy himself at work or in the mosque or in the community, with his friends or on the phone, just escaping the reality that he feels like he's failing his family life. Even so many of the working mothers, before they joined me, they were focusing almost all of their energy on their professional success because they found that easier than their home life. Because when they're at home with their kids, they tell me they distract themselves for hours on the phone. Things are getting done, yes, the routines are getting done. And they're not spending that quality time with their children. They're not leading their children, nurturing them and giving them the time they know they need to give them. Because it's hard. It's hard when your children are always challenging you. They're not listening to you. They're not appreciative of what you're doing, especially when you're carrying, the weight of the family on your shoulders. When you're taking on your husband's role as well as your own. The pressure becomes too much. And in the end, the mother ends up walking on eggshells around her children, not wanting any more stress, not wanting to cause any more arguments or chaos in her life. She gives in to what her children want for an easier life. She does everything herself because it's easier than asking for help and then having arguments justifying why people should help. She focuses on just getting her children to the age where they're an adult and she's done her job. She's raised them. But she's given up on bringing out the best in her children because she didn't know where to start with that. She's just dealing with so many things. It's too much. In the end, what you see is the husband blaming the wife. My wife doesn't listen. And the mother blaming her children. They don't listen. Do you see the pattern here, my sister? Do you see what is happening if we take away the blame? This is not because the husband does not want to lead or the mother does not want to lead her children. They both want their family life to succeed and thrive. They just don't know why, despite their best efforts, it's not working. Nothing they are doing is working. Nothing they do seems good enough. It's too much. I can't do it. And eventually they give up. Most give up and live as broken families within the same home. But what that teaches our children is the very opposite of what we want to give them. An example of how to lead their own families one day. For our families to thrive, my sister, the husband has to step into his leadership role, knowing how to lead so he is followed. And the mother has to step into her leadership role, knowing how to lead so she is followed. If each takes on their role given to them by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, their family will thrive in harmony. That's where we want to get to. That is our goal, where we're each able to do our own role. And it doesn't mean that the successful working mother isn't going to want to continue working. No. But when I ask the women I speak to, the successful working mothers, who are carrying it all and doing it all, spreading herself so thinly and burning out, if she actually wants to continue working like she does, they say no. They want a happy home. Yes, they want financial security. Yes, they want professional success. but they don't want to burn out and have to work like they're working. They don't want to have no energy left and time left for their children. But unless her husband is leading, she struggles to let go of doing everything and feels she has no choice but to carry the family. Now, this isn't the case for every family, of course, but for many, many, many clients that I work with, many, many sisters who come and speak to me, these are very common struggles that they find themselves in. They feel stuck and they don't know how to change it. The mothers want to leave, but they don't want to break their family. But they struggle because even if they keep their families together in the same home, inside, everyone is emotionally disconnected and no one is happy. So if you're listening to this and this is resonating and you're thinking, yes, this is exactly what I'm going through. This is my life. This is how we're living. This is where I am right now and I don't know how to get out of it. I want to tell you, my sister, that you are not alone. This is a societal-wide problem that we're facing today. And it's not because you're not good enough, or that your husband can't change, or that you need to give up. As soon as your family learns to lead within their home, you will see all of these issues disappear. But then comes the next problem. How do I convince my husband to take a leadership course? Because most husbands aren't willing to look for help. I know. So many of the sisters that work with me will say, how can I help my husband with this? And I say to her, you change first and you will see how the change in him follows. So don't worry, my sister, you don't have to convince your husband to join my program. You join. Because I work with Muslim working mothers. And I choose to work with mothers because they have a very special position in the home. They have a role in both of those relationships. Not only is the mother the flock of her husband, she's also the shepherd of her children. And you have the power to change any relationship that you are part of. So when you change, you'll learn to change your marriage dynamics and your parenting dynamics, and by doing that, you change your entire family. You have the ability to influence your whole household without anyone else getting professional help. Not only that, you are the leader of the next generation of leaders. When you go on and teach your children how to lead their own families one day, how to become husbands and how to become mothers, shepherds of their flock, you have just changed generations to come and broken the generation cycle that we all find ourselves in today, that we were not taught how to lead our families. And as you learn to nurture your children to become the leaders of their own lives and their own family one day, what you learn is how to subtly do the same with your husband so that you're able to unlock the leader within him without having to make him feel bad for his shortcomings, but by changing yourself in a way that brings a change in him. Because Allah SWT tells us in the Quran, Allah will not change our condition until we change ourselves. Now she leads her children and her husband starts to lead his family, and all because the mother made the decision to save her family and not wait around for others to do what they should be doing, and not trying to do it all herself, not the physical work anyway, the change work. You don't need to take on all of the responsibilities, sister, in your home, but you can lead the way to change. This is why you can't wait for others to change. This is why blaming your husband for not being man enough or your children for not listening is not going to help you. It's just going to make it worse for you. And this is why doing everything yourself is just a short-term delay to the inevitable breakdown of your family. Because you can't do it all. If you do, your children will not get the best of you. Until your husband learns to lead his flock, your family life continues to be strained by you taking on his role, because that just causes more conflict and distance between you. You want to thrive and succeed, and you want to teach your children to do the same in their lives. Now, on a side note, many of the sisters I also work with are single mothers. And so if you're listening to this and you're thinking, well, I have to take everything on, I have to wear both hats, I understand, my sister, and I work with so many single mothers in order to balance both roles where they need to. Where they need to, they're fully capable of doing it. But in many of the cases where my clients are married and they don't need to, that resentment and that anger that is breeding in the home is so unhealthy for the family that they don't need to be living in that state. They can turn that around. So for them, the solution is one. For you, the solution is different. But what is it that will give you both what you need? A leadership training. Training on how to lead your family, your flock, so that they follow you out of love and respect. And how to nurture leaders in your children, that is so important for every mother, whether you're in a marriage or you're raising your children on your own. That is important for every mother to learn. This is why I tell you, my sister, my leadership training is the most valuable thing that you, as a mother and a wife, can do to save yourself and save your family. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in the Quran, "Oh, you who believe, protect yourself and protect your families from a fire." So what's the next step? I'm running a free masterclass at the beginning of January. Over 3 short daily sessions, I'll be helping you see what leadership mistakes Muslim working mothers are making that sabotages their parenting, so you can be aware of what is causing the challenges you're having right now. This masterclass will also take you through the parenting and relationship blueprint that I help my clients with to create their happy home on my Happy Home program. Now, this Happy Home program is my paid program. It's where I train my clients to lead themselves first, their emotions, their minds, so that they take control of their lives and the direction they want to go in. No more procrastination, no more stuck in the past, no more being held back in the situations you're in. It frees the way for you to lead your family to success. Then I train my clients to learn how to nurture the leaders in their husbands, if their husbands are not leading, and some husbands are leading, alhamdulillah. But those who don't, they learn how to nurture the leaders within their husbands and the leaders within their children. That's why nurturing leaders is a part of the program that every mother needs, as much as they need to learn how to lead themselves. And that's how we create a happy home. And your family turns around, whatever situation you're in just under a year. Alhamdulillah. And if you love this free masterclass, which I know you will know that you will love my Happy Home program. And know that you will get the results that you're looking for. So if after the masterclass you're ready to come and work with me, don't worry, my sister, you won't need to wait any longer. I'll be opening enrollment for you to join the Happy Home program in the same week as the masterclass. You can jump straight onto the program and start transforming your family, unlocking your superpower in your home, and lead your family to success. And you'll tell me a year later, it's the best decision you ever made. So go and register for the free masterclass today at www.happyhomecoaching.com/blueprint. Spaces are limited, so do it as soon as you can. Do it today. And get ready to join me on the Happy Home program, because 2024, my sister, is the year you create your happy home, inshallah. So we'll leave it there for today. And I'll see you in the masterclass, inshallah. Take care. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdik, ashhadu la ilaha illa ant, astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. Assalamu alaikum.